Hello there! Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak. It's August 11, 2020. Yeah! Oh, there's a big announcement today. Um, Vice President Joe Biden announced that his running mate will be Kamala Harris, Senator from California. So you see there, my announcing this. Um, Breaking news introducing Kamazilla. So, Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th district, is referring to Senator Kamala Harris as Kamazilla. So, this episode is dedicated to understanding Kamazilla as a phenomena. Uh, you know, um, From one vantage point, it's history in the making in America because Kamala Harris is an Asian American. She has a mother who is from India. And as you know, I'm a visiting professor uh, or adjunct professor, actually. I was visiting professor and then became an adjunct professor at an Indian college in Bangalore, Indian University in Bangalore. And so I teach bachelor's and master's student there. And I have students, who are now leaders in Indian communities throughout the world, Indian communities throughout the world. And Kamazilla's mother, Senator Kamala Harris's mother is Indian, and she did medical research at UC Berkeley and met an African American gentleman, and they got married, and he became professor at Stanford University in economics, and he's retired now. He's emeritus. Um, so she comes from a very intellectual, educated family. Obviously, Berkeley and Stanford are two of the best universities in California, and they're actually, two of the best universities around the world. Um, Kamala Harris herself did not decide to go to Berkeley or Stanford. Kamala Harris went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., which is HBCU, historically black colleges and universities. And as you know, I did my teacher education program at Virginia Union University in Richmond, Virginia. Virginia Union University is older than Howard University. And, Virginia Union University is HBCU, historical black colleges and universities. And so all my professors were black. And most of my classmates were black. In some, in many classes, 100% of my classmates were black. And I love Virginia Union University. I still do, and I loved it when I was there, and I loved all my classmates. At Howard University, I worked closely with education experts there. When I was teaching at Savoy Elementary School before coming to Stanford University as full-time Master of Science in Clinical Nurse Leader student in summer of 2018. I taught at Savoy Elementary School in Ward 8 in Washington, D.C., which is, uh, considered kind of the poorest ward in D.C. and Anacostia neighborhood. And 100% of my students were African Americans. So we worked closely with a lot of different organizations, including Howard University Department of Education. So I have a close relationship with Director Ladan of Capstone Institute, who's an amazing individual at Howard University. And, so I have a long-standing relationship with all the professors in education at Howard University. Majority of them I met, and I've, you know, uh, been trained by them in professional development programs. So, I have a soft spot for Howard University. Yeah, but it's not surprising Kamala Harris rose to the top. Studies show that African Americans who go to HBCU, like Virginia Union University or the Howard University or Morehouse College in Atlanta, they they generally become the leaders of black communities. not the black people who go to Harvard or Yale or Stanford. And that's because I'm a historian. I was trained as a professor and historian at UCLA's PhD program. And as a historian, I can give you professional advice on or comments on why that is. Because communal leaders are not legitimized through college degrees. Um, Community leaders are legitimized by the community. So it doesn't matter what college degree you have, that doesn't make you a community leader. Um, so it makes sense that people go to HBCU, black people go to HBCU, rise to the top of the black community, because by definition, black colleges, historically black colleges and universities, HBCU, um, are embedded in the community. And people who come out of there automatically become leaders in the community because it's owned and operated and financed by black communities around the country. So it makes sense, people who graduate from Howard University, Virginia Union University, where I did my teacher education program, and I'm licensed teacher in DC, um, Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Alabama. Um, so yeah, it makes sense. So it makes sense that Kamala Harris, who's African American, who's half African American, half Asian American, her father's black, Jamaican. I think she's Jamaican. I think her father's from Jamaica, but I mean he's African American in the sense that Jamaican black people were originally from Africa. So she's technically Caribbean American, um, or her father is Caribbean American because he immigrated from Jamaica. Um, but uh, but uh, all Caribbean blacks are Africans originally. So saying she's African American doesn't make sense because her father worked inside the African American community. Condoleezza Rice is also Caribbean American, but she considers herself African American. Um, so Caribbean Americans in America tend to consider themselves as African Americans, not as Caribbean Americans. So Caribbean African identity or Caribbean Black identity merged with African American identity. So, but yeah, studies show that Black intellectuals who went to Black universities become leaders of Black communities, and also they become leaders of Black leaders within American context. So a lot of the billionaires, CEOs, businessmen, they are generally from like HBCU, not like from Ivy League. So obviously, I was talking with some Black students who are interested in going to college, and I encourage them to go to HBCU. You know, because going to Harvard sounds good, but if you're looking at the long game, long term, blacks who go to like Morehouse College or Howard University or Virginia University, they tend to become greater leaders, not only of African American communities, but also of black leaders in American context, So that's generally been the case. There are some exceptions to the rule, but not many. Um, yeah, so I encourage my African American friends, to go to HBCUs, because I think that's, HBCUs have the greatest Black intellectuals in America, and so like a professor, Black professor from Harvard, uh, is great, but in research relating to like African American studies and actual leadership within African American studies or African American communities, generally HBCU professors reign supreme. One person in my program, Clinical Nurse Leader Program, we're finished as of Friday, August 7th, which was the official end of term for all Georgetown University masters, bachelors, PhD and doctoral program summer term. So, our final semester was summer term. So we are officially finished as of Friday, August 7th, in the eyes of Georgetown University. So technically, legally, administratively, uh, clinical nurse leader program ended technically as a course-bound program on Friday, August 7th, 2020. So yeah, I mean, those are the laws, right? Laws of the university. It's an official date of ending for the summer term, which means it's an official ending for our program. So many of us are now on vacation. Some of us are like in the beach celebrating, with their husband or boyfriend or friends, with their family members. So yeah, a lot of people are in a celebration mode as of Friday, uh, 5 p.m. when the summer term ended on August 7th, 2020. As you know, I transitioned into Virginia Hospital Center, so I am out of here. I am out of here of Georgetown University. I'm done. I'm done. Everything is done. Semester's done. So um, yeah. So I mean, my final clinical was last week Tuesday, 1 week ago, and uh, we had the virtual clinical with Professor Stacy Steves, who guided our virtual clinicals during August. And Professor Stacy Steves worked as a nurse in Unova Fairfax Hospital. So some of you around here watching the show may know Professor Stacy Steves. And she's worked at Lombardi Center. She's an expert of oncology. I want to do my PhD in nursing, eventually at Georgetown University, combining cardiology and oncology. So, uh, you know, um, I'll probably work, with or talk to Professor Stacy Steves in the future. When I'm working on my doctorate in oncology and cardiac issues and nursing. So I'm building that off of the research that I did with Professor Kelly Anderson and Professor Margaret Nolan in a one-year research class that ended in May 2020. So we went fall semester and spring semester, and we presented poster presentations in April, and there's video recording of that. Um, so it's a video recording. I watch it over and over again. It's like evidence, documentation that it was done. So yeah, the title of my research, or the topic of my research, was um, targeted temperature management in out of hospital cardiac arrest patients. Um, yeah, so basically, target temperature management is induced cooling, so using ice or cooling blanket or medication to cool your body. So after you have heart attack outside of the hospital, out of hospital cardiac arrest, heart attack outside of the hospital, we try to reduce your body weight so your brain doesn't get damaged, because there's a problem with lack of oxygen, and your brain without oxygen can die, and it's irreversible damage. So we don't want irreversible damage, right? So yeah, it's like you know blacklisted, being blacklisted, um, and you don't want to be blacklisted, obviously, for doing something that uh, is wrong. Uh, yeah, but anyway, yeah. Uh, yeah. I did that research, presented my poster presentation. It's just recorded on video, um, and so I'm going to use that to develop my doctoral research. I've been a member of Oncology Nursing Society in DC, Washington DC, for a long time, a national organization, ONS. Um, I get invited to luncheons, with oncology nurses and stuff like that. Obviously, I was a member, a student member, and so yeah, so Professor Stacy Steves, who guided our research, she she was great. I really liked her. And last week Tuesday, I said goodbye to her and all my cohort members. Well, because and because my work at Virginia Hospital Center uh, was starting, and so I said goodbye last Tuesday. So my final clinical day was last week Tuesday, 1 week ago. And during the Zoom session, I guess Professor Stacy Steves recorded that, Zoom. Um, Professor Stacy Steve's like, let's get together for, this party. I guess, there was supposed to be like this kind of social event, kind of a party. She called it a kind of a party without the snacks. But I told her I couldn't go because of, my work, big schedule. And so she's like, I'll video record it and email it to you. so, so I said, okay, great. So, Professor Stacy Steves is very nice. So, I'm sad to miss the party, but, our clinical officially ended last week, Tuesday. Um, and so, we were on Zoom, so all the other classmates were there. So they saw Professor Steves say to me that she'll record it and send me the recording of the social, like a party without the popcorn and the candies event to me. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to receiving the video. So please keep your promise, Professor Stacy Steves. Don't forget to send me the Zoom recording of the party that you say you're going to send me. But yeah, what can you do? Work is work. So, yeah. Yeah, so like last Friday was my last day in Georgetown University official like our Pilgrimage Leader program officially ended on Friday in the eyes of Georgetown University, because end of calendar is end of program. Um, so, it's official, it's legal, it's the law. And, my last clinical day was last week, Tuesday. So that was my final clinical day was last week, Tuesday. Professor Elizabeth Slaw said my clinical hours are completely fulfilled. And so I was done officially as of last week, Tuesday. Yeah, so you know. And so I'm very excited, It was sad to say goodbye to Professor Steves and all my virtual classmates last week, Tuesday, 1 week ago. But, I mean, it's the last week of the term. I mean, August 7th, Friday is the last day of the term, according to the university calendar. I emailed Georgetown University Registrar's office, and they said it is the end of the term, Friday, August 7th. So, I emailed that to Professor Schloss. You know, yeah, documentation, right? But anyway, yeah, yeah. So I'm officially done. So I'm excited. I'm out of here of Georgetown. I am in here of Virginia Hospital Center. So I'm very, very excited. Yeah, you all of you in Arlington County are very lucky because Virginia Hospital Center is in Arlington. I live in Arlington, so you're very lucky. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk about coronavirus today, but I figure today's a big day because Joe Biden picked his vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, Kamazilla, as I'm calling her. And obviously, the election is less than 100 days away, November 3rd, 2020. As I said, as long as President Trump opposes LGBTQ+, I'm voting for President Trump. And I encourage all of you to vote for President Trump because, Romans chapter 1 opposes gay marriage and homosexuality. So the United States of America as a nation needs to oppose gay marriage and homosexuality. And I'm running under the platform America Back to God. And so I value the morality in the Holy Bible. I believe that the morality in the Holy Bible should guide the morality of American society and American legal system, American law. American politics, American school system. So that's my official political platform. I encourage you to politically affiliate with Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia State District. Um, I'm considering starting my own political party to replace the Republican Party because there are people in the Republican Party who think legalizing marijuana is okay. And, I'm like, and there's like homosexuals like Green Mill, who was ambassador to Germany, and he's like trying to like pull his weight and push people around. And I'm like, I don't want you to keep pushing me around, Green Mill. You know, so I oppose Greenill's lifestyle as being immoral and against the Bible. And this is one nation under God, so we need to be guided by Bible morality. So I have no respect for Greenmill. I believe that Greenmill should not have a voice in any conservative movement or conservative party. So I don't like Greenmill pushing his weight around, trying to push homosexuality within the Republican Party. I just don't like it. So I'm considering starting my own party, and Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, you're welcome to join my party. If that's the way God wants me to go, let's see, I'm kind of at a wait and see position right now because maybe Republican Party will get its act together and, you know, uh, encourage Bible as a moral guide for America, you know? Um, so yeah, I mean, all the religions of the world, Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, Jainism, all the religions in the world, Hinduism, they all consider homosexuality as immoral and evil in their religious texts. So that's been a religious position for thousands of years. And so you can't change that. There's a reason why that's been illegal for thousands of years. Um, and why all the religious texts ban it. So yeah, so Gremio, you're wrong, and anyone who tries to support Gremio, you're wrong too. So yeah, I'm at a wait and see position to see if I need to create a new party. But if I do, please join my party because uh, I believe that we need to bring America back to God and have Bible as a moral guide for our community, schools, laws, institutions. Um, and I know like majority of Americans agree with me. So yeah, hopefully the Republican Party will get its act together, but let's see. But I'm dedicating this episode to today's main event, because Vice President picked Kamala Harris as a running mate, and you know, if a vice president dies, let's say December from um, you know, coronavirus, and he gets elected in November 3rd, then Kamala Harris will be sworn in as the president, in January. So it has a lot of significance. Obviously, she'll be the first Asian president. She's half Asian, 50% Asian, and 50% black. Barack Obama is 50% black and 50% white. And Barack Obama was raised by his white mother. Kamala Harris was raised mostly by because her mother and father got divorced, mostly by her mother in Montreal, Canada area. But she decided to come to Howard University for her college. It's a very smart decision. Because had she gone to Harvard, she would not be where she is now, right? Kamala Harris could have gone to Harvard or Stanford. She's very smart, but had she gone to Harvard or Stanford, she would not be the senator of the United States, most likely. Um, so she has a solid backing of HBCU, at least the Democrats, and that helped her in the political career. She narrowly won her attorney general election, but she won it again, and and that wasn't that powerful. It was like 10, 15 years ago, and since then she had a meteoric rise because she has a connection with HBCU. She would not have had that if she went to Harvard or Yale. So obviously, if you want a political career, you want to go to Howard University or Virginia Union University or Morehouse or like a HBCU. But it makes sense if you're black. It makes sense because in the Korean community, all the leaders in Korean community are not Harvard students. In America, 99% of the leaders in Korean community are like, they're tied to the Korean community. So, I mean, that makes sense. And I'm sure it's like that with other ethnic communities like Latino Americans. I'm sure the leaders in Latino Americans in Arlington or DC or Virginia or Maryland are not graduates of Harvard or Yale. There are a lot of Hispanics who go to Harvard and Yale, but they don't become leaders of Hispanic communities because you have to work within communities to become a leader. You've got to put in your time. And when you run off to Harvard, you're not really within the Latino community. You see what I'm saying? So it makes a lot of sense, you know. The Kamala Harris uh, catapulted towards stardom because she went to a historically black college and university. So that's why I encourage black students who are bright, who can't get into Harvard, who can't get into University of Pennsylvania. I tell them if you want a career in politics, then go to HBCU. If you want to become a billionaire CEO, it's probably smarter to go to HBCU because you have the connections, you know. It's kind of like golfing. Like, you know how white people golf and they make business deals there? Black people, you know, go to historically black colleges and universities, that's where all the deals are made, you know? So going to a historically black college and university is like going golfing, you know? Um, you know, that's kind of important. So, yeah, like Howard University graduates look down on Harvard University, you know, University of Pennsylvania, African American students. You know, that's just the way it's always been, and that's always it's going to be. Like Sanya Musa, our class representative, she went to HBCU, historically black college and universities in Atlanta, very famous university. She could have gone to like Ivy League, but she didn't. That's probably the smartest decision she made in her life. She's going to do great things. So, so, you know, where's our pin? You know, we were pinned in May, all of us, 25 of us, and we haven't received our pin yet. And I'm like, what's the deal? You know, pin, 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 pin. We were pinned in May 2020. Political nurse leader, CNL, CNL, CNL. Yay! So, yeah, so Saina gave a speech. She's amazing. Saina Musa, she's from Philadelphia. Her parents are in Philadelphia. She's originally from Sierra Leone, and my cousin has been a missionary in Sierra Leone for decades. My nephews and nieces, his children, you know, grew up in Sierra Leone all their life since they're like little babies, you know. And so, yeah. Um, so, you know, I feel close to Sanya because of that. And Sanya's, you know, her whole family's in Philly, and she zoomed in from Philly, you know. Yeah, but she gave an amazing speech, and we have the pinning ceremonies and video recording that Amanda is she's like in charge of, you know, like, you know, administrative stuff. Um, she's like what do you call that? Administrative assistant, or she's doing her MBA at Georgetown University School of Business, and we talked about that. I'm sure she's going to be a amazing leader in the future with her MBA from Georgetown. You know, like once she gets that MBA, I'm sure she's going to be like catapult into stardom. You know, but she's amazing. I love Amanda. She throws us like our Valentine's Day, you know, parties and Christmas parties. You know, the nursing department, they're always great. And we didn't really have them before Amanda, you know, came into the scene, and Amanda like just really upgraded the nursing department. No offense to people who were before that, because you know, I loved other people who used to fill her position, but she got hired recently from Georgetown, like during the year, during our program. So she's been there like a year, I guess, a little bit over a year. Uh, yeah, we all love Amanda, and uh, yeah, yeah, so it's you know, Saying is amazing. You know, Saying is an amazing woman, and so I'm just she's going to do great things. And yeah, I guess she's going back to Philadelphia. I think she's planning to work in a hospital in Philadelphia. I'm sure she has no problem getting all the jobs she applied to in Philly, but she's going to be an amazing nurse, nurse leader, clinical nurse leader. Um, um, yeah. So uh, obviously, I'm right. Uh, Yesterday's numbers was an aberration. We are up to 1,103 deaths in 24 hours, and that's the normal number, 1,000 to 2,000. and we'll probably get to like 20,000. Oh yeah, you're hearing Japanese music in the background in celebration of Godzilla, because Godzilla was created in Japan, as you know, and it came out as a Japanese movie a long time ago, black and white movie, and they kind of spread throughout the world. Uh, yeah, since I'm calling uh, U.S. Senator Kamala Harris Kamazilla. uh, yeah, don't forget to give me credit when you call her Kamazilla. Heerak Christian Kim, right? I don't know. I think I'm the first person to call her Kamazilla, right? I don't know. I gotta. If I'm not, please email me and let me know. you know. Yeah, but yeah. So August 11th, I'm calling Kamazilla. Kamala Harris Kamazilla. If nobody called her Kamazilla before August 11, 2020, then I am the one who coined that phrase. So give me credit. you know. Um, yeah. So 1,103 people died in 24 hours. So we'll cover that as well. Obviously, this is COVID-19 update by Iraq, but it includes everything else because who gets elected, uh, will determine the direction of COVID-19. COVID-19, according to healthcare experts, are forever, and we may not have a working vaccine for like 2 years or more. I mean, Russia said they have a vaccine. Are you going to take a Russian vaccine? They may like put stuff in there just for American badge. We'll have like implanted chip inside our bloodstream. Who knows what they do there. So I wouldn't take any Russian. Only vaccine I would take is an American vaccine, maybe British vaccine. I'm not taking vaccine from any other country. I don't trust it. And Dr. Gupta said today he's not. He wouldn't take vaccine from Russia. Dr. Gottlieb said he doesn't think there were enough tests on. And the head of NIH said he doesn't trust the vaccine. I think all of them saw my show from yesterday. My show from yesterday talks about that. So watch my show. My show is watched by Putin, Vladimir Putin. I think he rushed the vaccine after watching my show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Vladimir Putin. We understand each other, right, Vladimir? I applied to the head of CIA, so he understands where I'm coming from. I'm a strategist. I study military strategy, intelligence strategies inside history. So I'm an expert of Jewish history. So I study how Jewish political parties use intelligence to gain dominance over the other political parties. So during the time of Jesus, we had several political parties, Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Zealots. These were political parties who were vying for control and legitimacy and power. So, I'm an expert of Jewish studies, so I study how different political parties use intelligence warfare. In America, we don't use the term intelligence warfare when Republicans and Democrats fight each other, but that's what it is, really. We use the term intelligence only for foreign countries, but, there's domestic intelligence warfare as well. If we want to be, kind of specific about it, that's what it is, right? You gather information, you try to counter their information. It's the same kind of intelligence warfare, but at the domestic level. But we don't use the term intelligence when we're dealing with like Democratic Party versus Republican Party. And if I create a party, Heerak Christian Kim party, then I guess we'll be engaging in that too. But yeah, so yeah, but that's what it is. It's a form of intelligence warfare. That's what political campaigning is, right? It's a type of intelligence warfare. But on a domestic level. So, I'm an expert of intelligence warfare, studying internecine conflict because it got bloody among the Jewish political parties. The Hasmonean, they crucified hundreds of Pharisees. So Pharisees basically represent the rabbinic Jews right now. Hasmoneans were they were the priestly line, and this happened like in first century BC, that time period. But yeah, so political parties can get violent, and it happened in Roman democracy. You had the triumvirate period, and then they start fighting each other. And maybe I could talk about that another time, but it happens, Um, And I guess in America, during the Civil War, is a kind of like an internecine party, right? It's like political conflict that rose to to a military conflict. These things happen in countries, so it's nothing new. Throughout recorded history of the world, we see that in many countries. So, Pakistan's president right now, Musharraf. Uh, well, Musharraf was the last president, right? The current president is our cricket player. But Musharraf became president of Pakistan. He was a general, and then there was a coup d'etat, and then he became the president. And South Korea had coup d'etats, military generals kind of assassinating the president, taking control. And with President Chan, President Park, they had coup d'etats and rose to power. And Korea is a democracy, obviously, but these things happen even in democracies. So it's not just Pakistan, It happens in like Korea is a democracy that was, patron. America is Korea's patron state, right? South Korean patron state. South Korea has a U.S. Army presence of over 60,000 since what 1953. So even with the 60,000 U.S. soldiers there, these things happen in South Korea. So yeah, I mean, 60,000 is a lot of soldiers. We're not looking at 5,000 soldiers in Afghanistan. We're going 60,000. Yeah, so the United States have always seen China as an enemy. That's why 60,000 U.S. soldiers are in South Korea. In case America invades China, or in case China invades South Korea, they're there to fight the Chinese. That's the whole purpose for being there, China. They've been there since 1953. So yeah, so the U.S. has been an enemy of China since 1953, but it did not get a lot of press because Russia had the nuclear weapons when China was kind of a backward nation because they didn't have the technology, modern technology. But now China is probably, in some areas far more advanced than Russia. So I am saying COVID-19 is a biological weapon manipulated by China. That's one of my theories. As you know, if you've been following my show, I started this show in on April 2nd. So, watch reruns to get more information about that. As of today, the United States has 164,528 deaths. In terms of cases, there are 5,140,512 cases. Yeah, so that's where we are. It's horrific how many people are dying in America. Um, Yeah, I think we're going to go to 10,000 deaths per day sometime in the near future. The schools are opening up, and cases, yesterday I talked about how in 2 weeks there were 100,000 cases among children alone in America. So can you imagine what's going to happen during flu season? Thousands of American children will die. Thousands in every state. Thousands will die. In Arlington County, I successfully lobbied to close down Arlington Public Schools, Alexandria City Public Schools, Fairfax County Public Schools, Foster Public Schools. So those children are not going to die if they stay at home and the families are careful. But there are private schools that are opening up, so I expect these children to die. Um, this is COVID-19. It's going to kill whoever get like close together with other people. So unfortunately, our diocese of Arlington is not listening to me and closing down Catholic schools and Virginia's 8th district, Virginia 9th district, 10th district, Virginia 11th district, and it's a shame. A lot of Catholic children will die because Catholic schools are open, and I don't want any Catholic school children to die. But if the bishop Burbridge is not going to listen to me and close down schools, then what can you do? The blood of Catholic children in Arlington County is in your hands, Bishop Burbridge, because I've been calling to close down schools in this area, especially Virginia's acres, for a long time, and I wish you could listen to me. I'm trying to save lives of children in Virginia. And, I march for life, as you know. I'm very pro-life. And I don't think that, opening schools is a very pro-life thing to do. A lot of children are going to die. And so I hope Bishop Burbridge will change his mind and close down the public schools or Catholic schools in Arlington Diocese and Archdiocese of DC. I hope the Archbishop, what's his name? Archbishop, the new one. He's African American. He's the new one. He spoke several times at Georgetown University, Catholic University. I can't remember his name now, but sorry about that. But I hope he will close down schools in Archdiocese of DC or Washington. Because I don't want Catholic children to die. We need Catholic children to live. And COVID-19, it's infecting 100,000 American school children in 2 weeks in July, last week in July. That means if you can get infected, you could die from it. So Washington, D.C. public schools, DCPS, I teach at a public school, obviously. Savoy Elementary School is a public school, 100% of the schools are black. DCPS is closed. I lobbied for that. I advocated for that. I'm glad that I got that done. Obviously, our president, Washington Teachers Union president, um, President Elizabeth Davis, worked hard to do that too. So, I like President Davis. As you know, I was elected by my peers to be official delegate to the National Convention in 2018 of American Federation of Teachers, Local 6, Washington Teachers Union. So I work closely with President Elizabeth Davis of Washington Teachers Union, Local 6. Yes, I'm a union leader. Uh, but I care about workers, as you know from my show. I want workers to be safe and treated fairly. Um, yeah. So you know, um, it's a shame what's going on. In America, there's so many people dying. 1,103 people dead in 24 hours in summertime, middle of August. That's ridiculous. Temperatures are like over 100. It's shocking how virus can survive that. But it's infecting over like 50, 60,000 people, and it's killing over 1,100 people per day. So America is in a serious crisis. That's why a presidential election is going to be important. We need a president who can make the right decisions. And I believe that President Trump has done a good job. We don't agree on everything, obviously, and I hope President Trump comes around to my position because I am the Leonardo Da Vinci of 21st century. There's somebody like me comes around once every 500 years. So you should listen to me. Everything I said is coming true. I said children will get infected. If you see my show from April 2nd, I said viruses will mutate to infect children, and that's what happened. Because in April, virus wasn't infecting children. We weren't having cases among children. We have few, but it was like exceptions that proved the rule that most of the adults get infected. And that's what people talk about. But virus has mutated like I said it would. I said virus will mutate because we will try to find more people to infect. And that's what it did. Virus is a living organism. So Heerak Christian Kim was right about that too. Heerak Christian Kim was right. I'm Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress of Virginia's 8th District. I was right that it was a 365 days a year virus when Dr. Fauci was wrong. He said it's seasonal virus. It's going to go away in the summer and come back in winter. That's not true. I was wrong. But then Dr. Fauci was not the only one. Head of CDC, head of FDA, head of NIH, they all said it was going to be a seasonal flu virus. It's not like that. So, I'm right. So I believe I'm going to be right when I say thousands and thousands and thousands of children will die in every state in the flu season. I think I'm right. I'm expecting up to or more than 1 million children to die in the flu season in the United States alone. And I'm predicting that there will be 1 million deaths per month in America. And I think I'm going to be right. Because look at all the cases in summer. If you have 60,000 cases in the summer, in the winter, it's going to be like 300,000 per day. And unfortunately for all of you watching the show, COVID-19, you get it once, you get it again. Yeah, you get it again and again and again. Because like the Fauci has explained, no human body develops full immunity to COVID-19. Temporary immunity, yes. Which means once your temporary immunity runs out, you can get it again. That's what it means. So you can get COVID-19 like 20, 30 times throughout your life. And in one of those times, you could die from it. So let's say all 330 million Americans get infected with COVID-19 in the flu season. That doesn't mean anything. None of you will have full immunity because you got it. In the flu season 2021, 330 million Americans could get it again. And then flu season 2022, 330 million Americans could get COVID-19 again. Not only that, If you had COVID 3 months ago and you were completely healed and your immunity runs out because of temporary immunity, antibodies do not come for full immunity, then like once your antibody immunity runs out, you get it again within like, so you can get COVID like 4 or 5 times within a year. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, don't think like I got COVID in April, so I'm sick. You're not. You could die from COVID this winter, just to get it again. That's all the healthcare experts agree that no one gets full immunity. Yeah, you make a temporary immunity, but they're not even sure about that. So yeah, so expect to get it again, even if you got it in April. Everybody in New York, you're in for a treat in the summer because your schools are opening up. Thanks to Andrew Cuomo, who had all those old people slaughtered by sending COVID patients to old folks home. Remember Governor Cuomo? These Democrat governors do not care about life. Heerak Christian Kim cares about life. You know, what do you expect from Democratic governors who support abortion? They're not going to care about your life. I care about your life because I'm against abortion. Yeah. Looking at Latin America, you know, tragedy is going to happen in America, especially in states like New York, where 40% of the New York City public school system is like Latino. You're going to have tens of thousands of Latino children dying because Andrew Cuomo, Democratic governor of New York, decided to open schools on in-class instruction. A lot of people are going to die. It's a shame, you know, that you have abortion rights, Democratic governor Andrew Cuomo opening New York City public schools to kill Latino children. Because most number of children who are dying in New York are Latino children. It's sad. It's tragedy. Yeah, look at Latin America. We know Latinos, many of them die in every country, right? It's not like Africa where nobody's dying. Yeah, so Brazil is number one in Latin America, 3,057,470 cases and 101,752 deaths, 3% death. The death rate in Brazil is similar to us in America. They're about 2 million lower than us, but they'll eventually get to 5 million. So they'll have 64,000 in a month or two, or maybe even less. It's, you know, who knows how fast things can pick up in the fall. Mexico is number two, and its death rate is really high. So if you get COVID in Mexico, you're gonna die. Don't get it. 492,522 cases, 53,929 people have died. Mexico, you're in trouble. Mexican Americans, Chicano Americans, you're in trouble. Look at the rate of death in Mexico. Doesn't look good for you, man. Los Angeles, where there are a lot of Mexican Americans. Texas, where there are a lot of Mexican Americans. You're in trouble. Arizona, you're in trouble. Especially if your schools are opening up. You should not be surprised if all of your children die. It's a sad thing. How to keep it true. Peru, we have a lot of Peruvians in Arlington County and Fairfax County. Yeah, it's a serious problem. A lot of people are dying in Peru. 483,133 cases so far. Death rate is at 4%. 21,276 people died so far. Colombia, yeah, a lot of Colombians in Arlington and Fairfax County and Alexandria. A lot of you are going to die. Your children are going to die. So don't send your children to school. You know, keep them at home. Get some exercise bike and have your children go on the exercise bike every day so they're fit. But, you know, yeah, I mean, you got to protect your children's life. If you're the mother, I mean, it's your job. And, you know, think about how sad you'll be if your child dies. Seriously. It'll be your fault if you let your children go to school. It's your fault if your child dies. Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress of Virginia State District, say thousands of children are going to die in every state. You know, so I told you not to send your children. So hopefully, you know, you listen to the Leonardo Da Vinci of 21st century, that's Heerak. I mean, obviously you're not a slave. You do what you want. I'm not going to force you to wear a mask, you know, outside. I mean, if you come into my home, you're going to wear a mask. I'll force you to wear a mask in my home. Not like physically, but I'll say, you know, if you want to come into my house, you have to wear a mask. Because this is my house. Everybody will wear a mask in my house. You know, ideally, I would not invite anybody into my house because I don't want them to bring COVID and start touching workplaces, and then COVID lives for like at least 20, 48 hours, maybe longer. No one really knows. So I'm going to try to keep my apartment like a COVID-free zone with no strangers coming in at all. You know, because I don't know. I mean, scientists don't know what COVID-19 does. They don't know. So the safest thing is not to have any strangers come into your home, you know? Yeah, so I'm not having any strangers in my home. So, yeah, until, we have a vaccine or a cure or, yeah, if I marry someone that she's no longer a stranger, so she'll come into my home. But, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to survive if you're not careful. Look at 1,103 people died in 24 hours. That's like somebody in America. Somebody's dying somewhere. I mean, geez, a lot of people are dying. You gotta be careful. Um, Colombia has a lot of death too, right? 13,154 people died. Chile has a lot of people dying. 376,616 people got COVID, and 10,178 people died. So, like, look at Latin America. It's like each country is like a state in America. So you add up all those death numbers, it's actually higher than the United States. So Latin America is doing far worse than the United States when we look at it from that vantage point. Yeah, but there are more people in Latin America, so yeah. But what would happen if Kamala Harris wins with Biden? And Tifa will come into control. This anti-fascist. I mean, they hate fascism. They hate the Nazis so much that they're willing to destroy police cars. Whenever people say they hate Nazis, you gotta say, are they Antifa? You know what I'm saying? I don't trust anybody who's like go out of their way to criticize the Nazis or attack the Nazis, because Nazis are from what? 1939? I mean, geez, if somebody goes out of their way to attack Nazis that much, they may be a closet Antifa. I don't trust them. Because the term you protest too much. I think that protest too much. People go out of their way to criticize Nazis. You have to wonder if they're socialists. That's the kind of a socialist thing. Like, look at this, anti-fascist, right? Anti-fascist handbook. And Nazis are fascists, right? So by definition, Antifa are going to pick on Nazis. So if there are neighbors or citizens near you who keep talking about Nazis all the time, then they may be closet Antifa. You got to watch out for them. I don't trust anybody who goes out of their way to attack Nazis or Nazism, because I believe that they're probably anti-fascists. People who follow the anti-fascist handbook, Antifa. So yeah, I don't trust anybody who attacks Nazis in 21st century America in 2020. Nazis existed like 1939. If you hate Nazis that much, talk about it all the time, you're probably like socialists, Like during the McCarthy era, they identify a lot of socialists in universities, and they're all like anti-Nazis, I don't trust people who are anti-Nazis, go out of their way to be anti-Nazis, because they're probably socialists. You know what I mean? During the McCarthy era, they rounded up the socialists from universities in Hollywood, and they're all like anti-Nazi. Yeah, anybody who says they're anti-Nazi keeps like criticizing Nazis, like they're emotionally, like they have a baggage there. They're probably closet Antifa. I don't trust them. I don't care if they're in the Republican Party or Democrat Party. They're closet Antifa, in Republican Party too. So yeah, I don't trust them. Yeah. Kamazilla! 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 Moose is enjoying this, Moose, I introduced Moose to you yesterday. He's our new addition to the Heerak COVID-19 update by Heerak family. Moose, Christmas is coming soon. And as President Trump said, you will say Merry Christmas again. He said that in 2016 election, and got a lot of people to vote for him, right? Because of that saying alone. You will say Merry Christmas again. That's what Moose says. You will say Merry Christmas again, Moose. Yeah. So, Harry the Owl is kind of like amused. And Leo is like, is my day over already? Is the lion day over already? I don't know if you kind of see yesterday's show to listen to what I'm saying. Um, and Ducky, I love Ducky. And Ducky, she just loves Christmas. Look at that. She's wearing a Santa Claus hat. Ducky. Love. Christmas is all about love. Santa Claus is all about love, right? So yeah. Yeah, so Kamazilla. So Joe Biden picks Kamazilla, aka, it's like, that's her name, Kamala Harris, as his vice presidential name. And yeah, I'm trying to compare Kamazilla to Godzilla, and I see that Godzilla came from Japan. Don't they look alike? I don't know. I mean, they could be twins. If you ask me, Kamazilla and Godzilla, they look like twins. They could be like brothers and sisters. They could be siblings. Kamazilla. See, she's even having that Kamazilla, although Godzilla is like this. Isn't that interesting? I think you would think that Godzilla would be like this, but Godzilla is like because Godzilla is trying to hold Kamazilla's hand, um, yeah, yeah, like people in Japan and Asian Americans are all scared of Godzilla and Kamazilla. Yeah, and look at her, Kamazilla is like driving people away, and they're like 6 feet away from her. And this was like not during coronavirus time. And yeah, Kamazilla is taking the city. We see all the buildings around her, just like Godzilla on top. Boom, Kamazilla. Kamazilla is on the take. Kamazilla. Right? uh, and all the people running away from Godzilla and Kamazilla. And look at how angry Godzilla is. Like, Godzilla's like uh, spouting like fire from her the nostrils. And look at Kamazilla. I see like I could see like anger coming out of her nostrils there too. It's like invisible, but you can kind of see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see it in her facial expression. Kamazilla. Oh, you're gonna have so much fun, you guys, in this election. It gets better and better. Did you see my episode with Joe Biden and facial mask? Then you guys are gonna have so much fun. You guys are so lucky that Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress of Virginia's 8th District, is running for Congress this year. Um, I encourage you to politically affiliate with me. Your political affiliation with me is protected by U.S. civil rights law because I'm an official candidate for U.S. Congress of Virginia's 8th District. I'm registered with Federal Election Commission. So you can Google Federal Election Commission and see my details. I'm registered with U.S. Congress and Virginia's U.S. Congress, Office of the Clerk. So I'm official with U.S. House of Representatives. So Nancy Pelosi knows me. Everybody knows me in U.S. House. They want me there, from both parties, because they know I can save America. So, yeah. So I'm official federally, and obviously in Virginia, I'm official too. I sued the Virginia Department of Elections and Virginia Governor Northam to have my 1,000 signature requirement that was due on June 9th waived because Governor Northam issued a stay-at-home order on June 30th or March 30th to last to June 10th, covering the whole period when I could collect signatures. So I can collect signatures. So during that period, I declared independent in March, and I couldn't collect signatures during that period. It's not that hard to collect 1,000 signatures, but you gotta go door to door to collect those, right? That's the physical signature. So, uh, I wrote to Virginia Board of Election Commissioner, to have my requirement waived because of the Virginia Governor Northam's stay-at-home order, which makes it illegal for me to go door to door and knock and collect signatures. I could be arrested. It would be like a felony. Uh, so I didn't go from door to door because I respect the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm being reasonable to ask for waiver of this requirement for 1,000 signatures. Uh, Chip Piper, the commissioner of Virginia Department of Elections, is the head. He wrote back and said he doesn't have authority to waive that requirement because it's Virginia state law. Um, And since Governor Northam issued a stay-at-home order, he could issue the waiver for me. So I wrote to him, and he hasn't even written back. He doesn't respect the agents, you know. I mean, geez, I mean, if he respected agents, he would at least send me a letter, you know, saying X, Y, and Z. He didn't even write back to me, and I wrote the letter. I sent emails. I left phone messages, you know, whatever, you know. I got nothing back. So Virginia Governor Northam listened to like agents. So what can he do? He knows I could beat Tom Bayer, who's Democrat, you know, and Virginia Governor Northam is Democrat, so they're playing dirty politics, obviously. But I filed my lawsuit with Arlington Circuit Court on June 3rd. I was going to wait till like June 9th, but I'm like, maybe it's going to be too late. So I filed a lawsuit. I guess I was a fool to have confidence in Governor Northam. I thought he was an honorable man because he went to Virginia Military Institute. And I thought he was a man of honor, even though he was in a different party, but I guess not. So, so I filed a lawsuit on June 3rd. The deadline was June 9th. So I'm official in Virginia as well because I filed a lawsuit before the deadline. And that's what matters. So as soon as the court issued me a waiver order, my name will be on the ballot. If you apply for absentee ballot, my name may not be on the ballot by the time because the trial is like in September. So make sure you write my name in, Heerak Christian Kim. Look for my spelling. Make sure you spell it correctly and sign the absentee ballot. Because if you don't sign the absentee ballot, it's invalid. Yeah, mail-in voting is really complicated. You know, yeah, but make sure you sign it and make sure it's all legit. Yeah. Yeah, so vote for me on November 3rd, 2020. I'm official. I'm legal. I'm the favorite to win against Don Bayer, and I intend to win. So yeah, so vote for me, November 3rd, 2020, and I may create a new party. I may wait and see to see what the Republicans do. But if Republicans go in the wrong way, I'm gonna create a new party, and then you will have like a lot of people jumping ship from the Republican Party to join my party. You'll see. Because we're talking about Romans chapter 1. It's very deeply religious thing for all of us. It's part of the Bible. It's part of Christian history for 2,000 years. People are not going to compromise on that, really. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, so it's an important issue from a religious angle. And people go to church, they care about these things, And obviously, we want to follow God's word. God's word, the moral value. So, yeah, so politically affiliate with me right now. Create your own poster, Heerak for Congress. If you want to, like a sticker or something, just email me. I'll send you one. Yeah. So, but you can make your own. Put it in your car. Heerak for Congress, Virginia's 8th District. Yeah, be creative. Be creative and proactive in supporting me, aligning yourself with me, agreeing with my political positions on abortion, homosexuality, gay marriage is protected by civil rights law of the United States of America. It's a federal law, and violators of them can have criminal records that can disbar them from being a lawyer. So yeah, just email me and let me know if somebody's violating your civil rights, because you have the right to side with my political positions, which is against gay marriage, against abortion, which is against homosexuality. And if somebody attacks you for that, verbally or fires you, demotes you, gives you a bad grade, gives you an F in the class, they could get arrested for violating civil rights law. Yeah, and have a criminal record. Yeah. So so just email me and let me know. I like using the court system. I believe in the court system. So yeah, we'll file that civil rights lawsuit. If anybody takes an action like demoting you, firing you, or giving you an F at George Washington University, George Mason University, Georgetown University, wherever, we'll take action. So yeah. So you have the civil rights law behind you when you support me and my political position on gay marriage, homosexuality, and abortion. It's a political affiliation that is protected by the civil rights law of the United States of America. Yeah, I mean, we have the First Amendment here. It's not like just because you believe something, you know, you could fire somebody who believes that gay marriage is wrong, right? Right? You know, or keep a student who thinks gay marriage is wrong on that. Yeah. So yeah. So if you know if somebody violates your civil rights at you know any of the universities that you attend and you're you know, you're a U.S. citizen, it's right to you, or you're a permanent resident, the civil rights law protects you. So, you know, many times, you know, ordinary people suffer because they don't know the law. That's why knowing the law is so important. If you're an immigrant, I would encourage you to have at least one child become a lawyer because knowing the law is so important. Because Kamala Harris is a lawyer, you know, and she's a child of an immigrant, right, from India. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, being a lawyer is a smart thing to do. You gotta know the law and law protection. Yeah. So, you know, I'm happy you joined me for Kamazilla episode. Kamazilla! Kamazilla! Yeah, so, keep watching the show. We're going to have so much fun going into November 3rd. Joe Biden makes this fun and more fun. Yeah, so make sure you give me credit when you talk about Kamazilla. Because, you know, as far as I know, I'm the one who coined it. But, you know, if there's somebody before August 11th, let me know by email. But as far as I know, I'm the one who coined it. So, yeah. So whenever you talk about Kamazilla, give me credit, okay? Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you again. This is a daily show. Tell everybody to watch it. I give you information that helps you with COVID-19 and everything that happens around you, you know? Yeah. One-stop shop for entertainment, for information, for understanding what you need to do to survive COVID-19 America. Yeah, so see you tomorrow. I hope that you'll be well and that your family will be well too. Bye.